Jezile. Today we are hanging out with Qedani Elections Manager, Umam Q. Qedani Mahlangu. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you very much for coming. What does Elections Manager mean? What exactly do you do as Qedani Elections Manager?
Oh, I do a lot of things. Firstly is to ensure that there is a program that all ANC members and leaders are involved in. They go out there and do door-to-door work, as well as interact with the voters through sectoral meetings, house meetings, or in the way that the setup is at the Ren show today. So that's what I do on a daily basis.
Okay, so now I'm going to vote for the second time this year. You know, I voted the last time, I'm going to vote for the second time this year. And I've noticed that you guys have been targeting young people. You guys are all over the place. You guys are on social media. You're on Instagram, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook. What has been the strategy? You guys are even on WhatsApp.
Yeah,
what's the strategy here?
In every election, we try to introduce new things. In this election, one big single thing that we're doing, in addition to others, which we've done in the past, is social media. Indeed, we are on all social media platforms because there's a lot of young people who are first-time voters, as well as people like you who are voting for the second time, but also the middle class in their different levels. You will find them in the social media, be it on Facebook, be it on WhatsApp, or whatever platforms, you find them there. So we thought it's important to talk to all voters in whatever way. And by the way, this is just not only an election platform. We're intending to keep active with social media and talk to ANC members and our supporters post-elections.
But how has the response been? How has the response been from young people? Because I can only imagine people on Twitter are they express their views and they're very opinionated as well. How has the response been so far?
Interestingly, we've been received very positively. Those who are our core supporters are very happy that we are active on social media, and those who were critical or who needed a platform to engage with us, because as you know, we can't be everywhere every time. Also, they are welcoming the opportunity that at least the ANC is where they are, where they can be found. They raise difficult questions, questions like Nkandla, questions like the e-tolls, questions like the fact that my cost of living has gone up, yet the economic environment is not improving that much. So those issues, they have a platform to raise with the ANC leadership. Of importance that the provincial leadership have taken a decision to be on Twitter and to engage with those people who are active there in those platforms. On Sundays, the provincial chairperson is talking to the Twitter activist as well as the provincial secretary, and I must say they love it. And I think it's good to see ANC leaders be where people can be found, not only in our traditional support base. Of course, if you want to talk to young people at varsity, whether about student accommodation or whatever, most of them will find them on Twitter. And I think it's been incredible to have ANC leaders embracing technology. We've always spoken about the ANC being modernized. And what really pleases me with this election is to see ANC leaders in the province embracing that. And I know even at national level, the SG, Secretary General of the ANC, and a lot of ANC leaders are now on Twitter, Instagram, and all of those things. And it is pleasing that in these elections, we've taken this to the different heights.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's very comforting for young people as well to know that we can communicate with our leaders at any given time. But what would you say has been your fondest memory over the past 20 years as we keep celebrating, that we carry on and celebrating 20 years of democracy?
I think the first thing has been that one was voted for the first time in 1994, and I remember I just given birth, so I walked to the voting station with stitches. I had a Caesar. That was probably one of the things I remember. But secondly, the fact that we had a black president, the ANC government governing, or we had someone that looked like me and you, who was our president, was really also something. When President Mandela used to go overseas in international missions, you see a black president, people, different big countries rolling a red carpet for the black president. I think has always been a fondest memories for me. And I think the last thing is that despite what many critics say, the ANC government has really done South Africa proud. If you look at the economic landscape, at least there's things I do part-time with my time. If you look at how the economic recession has hit big countries like the US, like the UK, like Europe, in that zone, If you look at how banks have been rescued by the Federal Reserve Bank or by the Treasury in the US, there's not even a single bank in South Africa was bailed by government. You can't owe that to anybody else, and you can get this information from textbook published by London University and everywhere else. It is there. The second other thing that really makes me to continue to be proud to be an ANC member and want to work hard, if you look at how the credit crunch has affected individual citizens. Many people, when the National Credit Act was introduced, people were skeptical. When the Consumer Act legislation was introduced, people were critical. If you read some of the documents I came across a few months ago, it says South Africa did well during the economic recession because we were able to halt the level of indebtedness of South Africans simply by those introducing those two legislations as compared to what happened in America, and this information is public. And I think the third biggest thing for me is that we've created institutions that are functional. We talk about SARS. Today we've increased the revenue levels from $121 billion to way above 800 billion, what we're collecting from SARS. That does not come from a rocket scientist, it comes from people who are deployed and who are working under the ANC government. We've got an Auditor General that is critical of how we use government money and hold us accountable. You have the Reserve Bank, which is probably one of the best in the continent. You've got a stock exchange and many other things. For me, from where I'm sitting, each time I travel overseas, of course, one of the proudest joys is to land at Oliver Regional Tambo International Airport, because you go to Milan, you go to Rome, you go to many developed countries, there is no airport like compared to what we have in South Africa.
You know, I think that's amazing that you're highlighting all the positives, because we spend a lot of time as young people as well looking at all the negatives, what we're angry at. It's amazing that you actually remind us of what we've gained as well as young people in our country from the current government. Thank you very much for your time.
No, it's a pleasure indeed. What I want to say lastly is that since the ANC government is in power, young people have better say. I listened to the young people who came here before me. As a young person at the time, I would not have been the person I am today had it not been the African National Congress.
Absolutely.
Indeed, we've got weaknesses. However, if you continue to give us a chance and hold us accountable for the things that we said we're going to do, we can only improve for the better. South Africa belongs to all of you, not only to the ANC.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much for your time. You've been watching ANC.